businesses on our sidewalk, blocking the sidewalks with canopies, grills, hot grills on our sidewalk. Also, charcoal grills, like you would have in a backyard, or a huge barbecue pit on our sidewalks. And your services are just not operating in a manner of deterrence. They're not deterring any of these people. They just give them notices, and if anything, they're facilitating the whole operation, illegal operation. Some of these are on private property, partially, and you have people standing in the parking lots of this private property, taking over their parking lots with their large vehicles, and we have the businesses there that are suffering, and they're a consequence of your non-action on these illegal businesses. This is unfair to our community. It's unfair to our businesses who pay your salary pretty much. And they're also have these. Mrs. Reyes, I saw her on some kind of commercial or something that you had on LA, and she was promoting non-styrofoam carrying cases, and this is what these people give out all the time. So they're actually contributing to the landfill and all the things that are wrong with what's going on with our community. Why aren't we taxing them for the services? We're not getting anything for our services. They're not paying anything. They're not being ticketed. You're creating a lawless environment. Something needs to be done about it. I don't know why we're even paying these people to do nothing.
That's 2 minutes.
I mean, we're just...
Thank you, James. I'm going to go ahead and put you back on mute. And that concludes public comment this morning, Vice President Villegas.
Thank you. All right, then we will close general public comment and neighborhood council comment. And we will move on to the approval of today's minutes. If we can have a second to my approval for the minutes of Wednesday, May 22nd, 2024. All right, and Mr. TJ Knight, we have a motion by myself and a second by Pro Tem Davis. If you could please take roll call.
Very well. We'll take a roll call vote on approval of minutes, starting with you, Madam Vice President.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
All ayes, and this item is approved.
All right, thank you. All right, then we will go on to item number 1 on our agenda, and we do have a public comment for this item. Will the person with the letter F have general comments on item number 1?
And you have 2 minutes.
For the record, the card reads Fatso, just like you. And the reason why I talk about Fatsos, because Fatsos are lazy, incoherent.
So you're not speaking to the agenda. You're not speaking to the item.
I'm getting to my point about the mayor and your fucked up council people who don't provide a service to clean, dickheads, to clean. So if you're going to clean anywhere, clean the fucking city, just as you heard the public speaker talk about the fucking dirty chinchero on the goddamn fucking sidewalk and streets that we can't walk on anymore. And we have to walk into incoming traffic. We have to walk into incoming bike lanes. We have to walk into incoming shit. So when are you going to clean it up? Fuck the harbors. Fuck LAX. All they do is bring in the drugs. Didn't you see on the news about the drugs coming in?
Please stick to the item. For,
Yeah.
Item number 1.
Drugs look
Clean
like shit
Harbors
on
Environmental
behalf
Services.
of the Bureau of Street Services because you're not on a contract to clean the harbors with all the plastic and refuge that comes down the riverbeds and flow into our fucking streets and highways and oceans, because the fucking harbor highway patrol people, just like at LAX, don't stop the drugs from coming in from the cartels.
Please stick to the item.
I am sticking to the topic. The topic is all this shit.
There is nothing in our agenda item for item number 1 dealing with
the
airports.
Harbor's environmental service, and now we're going to hire a new contractor of multiple contractors that don't sweep, clean, sterilize the areas because your fat ass fatso ain't doing your job.
All right. So let's move on to item number 1, and this is in all council districts. The mayor and the city council have approved and authorized the Board of Public Works on behalf of the Bureau of Street Services to execute the contract with Clean Harbors Environmental Services, Inc. for the revised emergency response hazardous waste management contract, service contract. And on this item, this is an administrative item, and Mr. Knight, we just take a motion on this item, is that correct?
That's correct, and then we'll take a roll call vote if there's a motion and a second to approve.
Thank you. All right, is there a motion for approval on this item?
Second.
All right, and Mr. Knight, we have a motion by Commissioner Reyes and a second by Pro Tem Davis, if you could please
Very
take
well.
roll call.
We'll take a roll call vote, starting with you, Madam Vice President.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
All ayes, and this item is approved, and we'll move forward forthwith.
All right. And then let's go on to item number 2. And for item number 2, we have a person with the name starting with an F.
So highway safety, right? Didn't I bring it to your attention about the Federal Highway Administration that I filed with Caltrans for 90 days that they need to get their shit to work and fix the infrastructure off of Soto Morango? It's going to happen. And you're going to fix the goddamn concretes and streets that we continue to have broken, erosion, and dilapidated sidewalks and unsafe streets with fucking potholes because supposedly we have a highway safety improvement project or projects going on, but without consideration that we, the wetbacks of California, we, the wetbacks who come here for jobs, cannot pay our taxes and you can't improve our streets. Why is that? Why is that, President? Someone asked dumb President Biden, why is that? We need wetbacks to fix our potholes. We need wetbacks to fix our sidewalks and streets. We need wetbacks who know how to lay concrete because none of you want to get your hands dirty, right? It takes a wetback like me to talk about the transmitting release for a stop notice. No, we don't want a stop notice. We want our fucking highways fixed. Everywhere you go in California, why is it that we have a rundown infrastructure created by white niggers too like you? Why? Why can't you spend the taxpayers' money? But no, you continue to inflate, raise costs, and surcharges and continuities to pay these fucking idiots, morons, incompetent assholes to rip us off. We're taxpayers. We don't want to pay more taxes. We want shit fixed now, and then we consider whether or not you can raise the taxes on us because we're in a crisis due to your dumb, fucked up president.
All right, so item number 2 is communications. And this is a release of stop notice with Hercon Construction Services Incorporated. Is transmitting a release stop notice in the amount of $297,663.85 for concrete flat work done in connection with the Highway Safety Improvement Project, cycle number 6. The primary contractor is KDC Incorporated, also doing business as Dynaelectric. And for this item, this is also just communication. Do we have a presenter on this item, Mr. Knight?
We do not, Vice President Villegas. This is a communication that's it's
All
an
right.
administrative process.
Thank you. All right, well then, why don't we, I'll make a motion to approve this item if we have a second. All right, and Mr. Knight, we have a motion by myself and a second by Commissioner Reyes. If you could please take roll call.
Yes, we'll take a roll call vote on item number 2, starting with you, Madam Vice President.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
All ayes, and the item is approved, is received, and will move forward forthwith.
Okay. All right, let's move on then to item number 3, and we have a person for public comment for item number 3 with the letter starting with F.
Read the card. It says fat.
And you have 2 minutes.
It doesn't say 2 minutes. It says 1:20, fool. So, Hercon Construction Service, I'm here in support of you. Why these white nigger public service people and their rip-off attorney service continue to not want to pay you for labor. These people make $300,000 a year. They get a free credit card to gas up their cars and come to work. As you see, there's 2 absent people here, and we still have a quorum of 3, but why can't they come to work?
Please stick to the topic at hand.
Yeah, I'm talking about labor. How do you expect to pay people for quality labor, quality service, and the use of equipment that come with a cost? Nothing's free. Money doesn't grow on fucking trees, and that's why they're asking you to pay the fucking bill of that order and their bid that you ordered to pay them. Now you're coming up with some bullshit lines that, we want to stop the notice here because we feel that you guys are not finishing the job on time. Well, they can't finish the job on time because you morons, idiots, stupid fools continue not to provide them a contingency, right? Isn't that the famous contingency I've been hearing for years? How you continue to steal public monies with contingency? Give it to them. Then maybe we can actually have a goddamn highway or something involving safety in a highway where the fucking potholes get filled, the fucking erosion on our streets get filled, the slurry seals get filled, all this shit that has been going on for years through the city of Los Angeles because you allowed that white piece of shit DWP attorney to rip us off with those fucking surcharges. Fuck Peter Thomas.
All right, item number 3 is before us, and this is a release of stop notice for Hercon Construction Services Incorporated, and they're transmitting a release stop notice in the amount of $307,772.45 for labor, services, equipment, and materials furnished in connection with the Highway Safety Improvement Program, Cycle 7, left turn signal modifications. The primary contractor is Crosstown Electrical and Data. And this is also communications for us, so I will put a motion forward to move this item. If we have a second.
Second.
All right, Mr. Knight, we have a motion by myself and a second by Pro Tem Davis.
Very well. We will take a roll call vote on item number 3, starting with you, Madam Vice President.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
All ayes, and the item is received, and we'll move forward forthwith.
Thank you. All right, then let's move on to our oral reports for today's meeting. And thank you to the Metro team who's here. We have transportation project status update. And this is item number 4 for our oral report. If you want to come up to the podium for that. Welcome. And apologies, you had to be subjected to
Good morning,
public
Chair
comment.
and Director. Sami Gali, Deputy Chief Program Management Officer. So this is our regular Metro update and major construction project. However, before we start, last time there was some question.
Want to pull the mic up?
Oh, sorry. So that's our regular Metro update, and I have a number of project managers to update you on different construction projects. Before I start, last time we had some discussion. I think Director Davis asked me about future of transit project, so I invited Dave Meager. He's a Senior Executive Officer for the Planning Department to give you some outlook, what's in the pipeline coming up.
Great.
So Dave?
I just wanted to see if the slides are going to be able to be run for this presentation.
TJ is handling that, right? The slides.
Good, thank you. Hello, I'm David Meager. I'm a Senior Executive Officer at Metro in their Planning Department. We heard last time that you had asked a question was about the Purple Line, Section 3. Is this the last of the projects that Metro is bringing forward? And I'm here to say with the Measure M sales tax measure that was approved in 2016, we have a number of projects going forward after the Purple Line, after the ones that you're going to hear about today that are going to extend for 20 to 30 years in the future. And we're the planning department that is developing the environmental clearances and working with LA City Planning, Bureau of Engineering, Streets LA on getting these projects approved in the areas where they affect the city of Los Angeles. So I'm just showing the map here of the slides that we're going to talk about. We have 6 projects. 3 of them are directly in the city of Los Angeles, and the other 3 are outside of the city, but they affect lines that are in the city. So I just want to give you a brief overview of those projects as in the future couple of years, you'll see these projects coming back with our project managers as they move into construction. Next slide, please. And this is 10 slides that we have. You'll see that if you can read the timeline there, this goes out over the next 2 to 3 decades of building. These are bus rapid transit, these are active transportation, and they're also light rail and heavy rail projects that we're proposing. Next slide. I wanted to just show this slide. This is a picture not in the city of Los Angeles. This is in Montebello, but a lot of the projects we're building, such as the Expo line, the Pasadena Gold Line, are built on former railroad rights-of-way that were operated by the Pacific Electric Railroad Company many, many years ago. This is an example of a project that was closed down in 1947. The terminal for that project is still there, and we're coming back to build a light rail project from Artesia into downtown LA as far as Union Station on this line. And we are making use of the railroad rights-of-way for most of the route. There's a short segment in downtown Los Angeles along Alameda near the Arts District where it would come into Union Station, which would be in the city of Los Angeles as a part of Phase 2. But the initial phase of that project is to go 12 miles from Artesia to get the blue line at Slauson Station, which is in the city of LA. We have one station in the first segment in the city of LA, and then the second segment is along Alameda, and there's a lot of work we're doing with the community along that route with plans for growth and development along the Alameda corridor to see how we can fit the rail on that route. And to come into Union Station, which we're all looking at a way to get into Union Station underneath the trains that are there. Next slide. I think I'll skip over this one because it's not in the city of LA. So next slide, 2 after that. And then this is the other project that's not in the city of LA that connects directly to it. The station that we came over here on this morning, the Broadway station, where the A line and the E line have their stations. This is an extension out through East Los Angeles. Currently, that line, when you get on at the Broadway station, you go out to East LA along 3rd Street to Atlantic Boulevard, and that's where it terminates right now. And this project is to look at extending that line further out through East LA along Atlantic Boulevard to the City of Commerce to out as far as Whittier. So it's an extension over time for that. The piece that will be affected by this is at the Pomona Atlantic Station, the current terminus line there. We're near East LA College, and we will actually be redesigning that station to turn it from the at-grade into a tunnel under Atlantic Boulevard. This is a project that we are just finished the draft EIR. The board approved the final EIR for this, and so we'll be coming back probably within the next 1 to 2 years when we actually get this for permitting and approvals in the construction phase. Next phase. That's just an example of one of the stations that we have on that. Next slide. The biggest project we're ever going to build, at least as far as we can tell, is the 405 freeway over the Sepulveda Pass. This is, by however you measure it, one of the top 2 or 3 congested freeways in the country. And as the growth in the valley is going to continue to increase, the freeway is looking to add express lanes in addition to the HOV lane, but we're looking to build transit through the pass because we don't have the capacity to carry everybody through in cars as we go forward. So a lot of our coordination with this, you'll see here is on the left, because it's so steep, the Sepulveda Pass is about 8% grade. So we can't run conventional rail on the freeway over the pass. So we're looking at solutions for vehicles that could be in a tunnel underneath the pass or a vehicle that has the capacity to climb. And so we've solicited proposals from the private sector to propose different types of technologies. And you'll see on the left a monorail, which is not the monorail from Disneyland. This is a modern monorail that's being built in other parts of the world quite successfully, in airports and in some of the Asian countries. We're looking at that proper technology, which would run in the Caltrans right-of-way through the Sepulveda Pass. I have a map of that, I believe, in the next slide, which shows the corridor, which is probably hard to read in this light. But go to the next slide. I think I'll just describe it verbally because it's probably too hard to read these slides. It would extend from the valley. We would start in Van Nuys at the Van Nuys Amtrak Metrolink station. And then we would come south on either Van Nuys Boulevard or Sepulveda Boulevard. The options are, and then the monorail would be in the freeway corridor. The heavy rail would be in a subway underneath Van Nuys or Sepulveda Boulevard. So we're looking at that configuration of the valley. That's the subway one would have impacts at the area where the stations are, but it would not have impacts in between the stations, except on utilities, but not on traffic. And then it goes under the mountain or over the mountain, and then we have a station connection at the new project you're going to hear about, the Purple Line extension, which we have a station in Westwood and at the VA hospital. It would connect to that station at Westwood and then connect to the Expo line further south. And that would be the initial project that would be built. Ultimately, that would go as far as LAX. We would have a second phase that would go all the way to the airport. And that's when the LAX flyaway won't be needed from the valley. We will actually have the ability to carry high capacity people. We have ridership forecasts of upwards of 100,000 people a day that would be able to ride on this line. But again, this project is 2030, 35 to 38. So it's still a little bit in the future before we'll have this. But we're currently in the draft EIR phase on this, and particularly for the station areas, working with LADOT on the traffic issues around those stations. And so when we get back with a preferred alignment, we'll come back with more detail and probably will be wanting to work with this group to approve some of the issues around street operations during construction. Next slide. I think I'll skip over these and skip over that. And I just had two more projects I wanted to present. Currently the Crenshaw LAX project, which opened last year, which runs around Crenshaw Boulevard from Expo south, is being completed later this year to the airport. So we will have light rail on Crenshaw Boulevard that'll go through Inglewood down to LAX, connecting to the Airport People Mover project. And with that opening, we expect the ridership on that line to go up significantly with the connection to the airport. And we have two projects to extend that line further south to the South Bay, and another one to extend it further north through the Mid-Wilshire area up towards Hollywood. And so I'll skip to one or two more slides to show the concept here. Next slide. This one. Yeah, so this is the concept for how that line would be completed. What we have right now is the middle section of that line is open. It starts at Expo Boulevard, goes down Crenshaw Boulevard, goes through Inglewood, and stops just north of the airport. That'll be completed later this year, early next year. Then it'll connect to the Green Line, which runs on the 105 freeway, and then turns south down to Redondo Beach. We'll connect to that line down to Redondo Beach. And then we have a project to go from Redondo Beach down to Torrance that we're working on, and then another one to go from the Expo line north into the mid-city area and up to the Hollywood Bowl. So these are the longer-term extensions. So ultimately, we'll have a line that will run all the way from the Santa Monica Mountains all the way down to the ocean in the South Bay area and connect a north-south line parallel to the Blue Line and parallel to the Sepulveda Pass. So we'll have a grid of three major transit corridors in the north-south direction, connecting the South LA and the South Bay area to the Santa Monica Mountains and through the mountains to the valley. And I think I wanted to have one more project I wanted to share with you today, which is more immediate. Our second busiest bus corridor we have in Los Angeles, in the county actually, is Vermont. And that line is very overcrowded. It's very congested on Vermont. And so this is where we actually are trying to do a near-term project for the Olympics in 2028, where we would have a demonstration bus lane on Vermont with new shelters to connect to on the north at Hollywood Boulevard, to the Red Line on Hollywood Boulevard, to the Wilshire Boulevard line, the Purple Line, to the Expo Line, and to the Green Line. And that would be a 12-mile long corridor for BRT improvements. We want to improve the safety of those stations with better lighting, better stations. And we're going to be working with Streets LA Group on that to help implement a near-term project and then a longer-term project that would be about 2030 to 2031. And so we've been out in the community meeting with the folks. We had some workshops out there. We have community-based organizations that are very helpful for us in meeting and interpreting the needs of that community. But it's a lot about safety and just having the stations well lighted, have secure methods to call for help if you need it, and to just make people feel safer in the corridor and to improve the running time of the buses on that route. So I think that's our look ahead of projects coming forward in the future. And I'd be happy to answer any questions, but I think the projects you're hearing later are where where this will be, these projects will be in 3 to 4 years and coming back to you.
Thank you. It's really exciting. Yeah. Commissioners, do we have any questions on this item?
I just have some observations. I think that the planning here has been outstanding in my estimation in terms of what you've presented here today. And the challenge of a dynamic geographic area, as well as a populous geographic area like Los Angeles, I think the plans have demonstrated our ability to meet the challenges that we have to connect each community with one another, as well as to be the centerpiece for the airport, which is really the be-all and end-all of getting to and from Los Angeles. I think in many plans that we've had in the past, oftentimes we were designing something from one destination to the next, but not connecting to the centerpiece, which is LAX. And so I see that we have learned from our past work, and that this is really a project demonstrating excellence in terms of the planning of what we are attempting to do from now all the way, I think you said, to 2035 to date in terms of what you've presented to us. So I'm very pleased with the planning and with this pleasant presentation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other questions? I don't see any other questions.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. So we'll start the project now with Purple Line Section 1. Steve Kim.
Good morning. I'm Steve Kim, Deputy Executive Officer for the Purple Line Extension Section 1 project. Taking a look at the first slide as an overview, the Purple Line Extension project, if you go to the one just right previous to this one, extends the existing Purple Line from Wilshire Western out to Westwood and the VA hospital. Sorry, one previous to that. Okay. The next slide. The West Side Purple Line Extension Section 1 project is 3.92 miles long, consisting of 3 underground stations. That's Wilshire, La Brea, Fairfax, and La Cienega. The final design is 100% complete, with the overall project completion progress at 91%. The budget is $3.73 billion, with a forecast revenue service date of fall of 2025. The FTA federal full funding grant agreement date of October 31st, 2024. Next slide. Taking a look at some of the construction progress at our La Brea station. Street side along Wilshire Boulevard, we have civil restoration that consists of paving, sidewalk, curb and gutter restoration. And at our station exteriors, construction for the entrance structure, the plaza, and the impendant structures is ongoing. On our upper right, we can see installation of the emergency exit hatch doors for appendage 1 being installed. Taking a look at our station interiors, room build out, including architectural finishes, MEP, that's mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems, and elevators and escalator installation is currently ongoing. On the bottom left, we can see door frame installation for one of our elevators, and our bottom right, we can see polishing for the terrazzo floor finish at the platform level. Also along those walls, you can see the porcelain enamel steel artwork, which has been installed at the trainway walls. Next slide. Construction activities for Fairfax Station is similar. At the street, we have civil restoration ongoing, again, consisting of paving, sidewalk, curb and gutter work. And at the station exteriors, the entrance structures and the plazas are currently undergoing construction. I believe our entrance structure canopies have been erected. Taking a look at our station interiors, again, station build out consisting of MEP work, architectural finishes, systems, stairs, elevators, and escalators is ongoing. On the upper right, we can see the porcelain enamel steel artwork for the high bay walls at the platform level being installed. And on the lower left, the the glazing enclosure for the stairs and escalators that lead from the concourse level down to the platform level. And on the lower right, the communication racks are being installed and tested for the TCNC room. Next slide. There are currently no planned street closures. Next slide. Community relations and public outreach. The following are what the project has been engaging the public in to inform them and stay engaged with the general public. Quarterly virtual stakeholder community meetings, not just for Section 1, but for 2 and 3 as well. Weekly email distribution of project construction notices. This also includes construction work schedule, so the public will be aware of upcoming construction activities. Information booths at community events. I believe last month at the Beautification Conference, Metro had a booth, and on the 15th of this month, we'll have another booth at the TARFest for information. Door-to-door distribution of construction notices when necessary. Last March, when we had the Wilshire Western decking removal operation, I think we had about 6,000 notices door-to-door to notify the public of kind of the major construction activities that are ongoing. Direct stakeholder field visits, face-to-face meetings when necessary, community presentations highlighting Metro's Eat, Shop, and Play and Business Interruption Fund construction mitigation programs, and hosting of project site visits and subterranean tours for select stakeholders, just so that they'll be aware of construction progress and to get a feel for what we're building out there. Next slide. Bidder Business Interruption Fund for Section 1. Total of 338 grants have been awarded, an increase of 19 since last report. The grant value is $9,515,806. $756,597 of which was added since last report, for a total impacted business count of 100. No change since last report. Okay. Any questions?
Thank you. Commissioners, do we have any questions on, you guys have done a lot of work.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Just looking at this one, Wilshire is so congested. It is a ton of work. You talk about it so sparingly, but I do know that there's a lot behind those words, so I really appreciate this update.
Thank you.
Do we have any questions?
Yeah, I just have
Go
one
ahead.
basic question. In terms of, this is Section 1 of Purple Line, correct? And in looking at it, we go to the VA hospital, right? Is that?
Right, that would be for Section 3.
Oh, that's Section 3.
Yeah.
Okay, and Section 1, what are the perimeters of Section 1 is from the La Cienega corridor to from Western to La Cienega corridor,
That's
right?
right. Wilshire Western Station to Wilshire La Cienega.
And we what's the deadline for total completion of that particular Section 1? Have we've complete that, right?
Section 1, that's our project that we're currently working toward. We're forecasted to open fall of 2025.
Fall 2021, okay. 2025, I'm sorry. Okay,
We're close.
okay, okay, great. Thank you. That's what I really wanted to know is the completion estimated date. And we're on schedule with what we had originally planned for the completion of that particular section, correct? Is that what we?
I mean, we've had a little
some
hiccups here and there,
extensions.
but the latest forecast is what we're confident in being able to achieve.
Great.
Yes.
That's it for me.
Thank you.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
Just following up to what Director Davis said about connection to the airport, we'll open the AMC that allow connection directly to the airport through the people mover this year. So that will, and we'll wait once they open the people mover, that will have physical connection to the airport. As far as the Purple Line, so Steve said we're going to open Section 1 next year. We plan to open Section 2 the following year, Section 3 the following year. That would be 2027, and that would be a year and a bit ahead of the Olympics. So the next is Mike McKenna, Executive Officer for Section 2. Mike?
Thank you, Sami. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Mike McKenna. I'm the project manager for Section 2 of the Purple Line Extension. So Section 2 is the next 2.6 miles. It runs from La Cienega through the city of Beverly Hills and back into the city of Los Angeles into Century City. We have stations at Wilshire Rodeo Drive and within Century City on Constellation Boulevard at the intersection between Constellation and Avenue of the Stars. We're approaching 70% complete. So right now, project-wide, we're doing a lot of concrete work. We have concrete going into the tunnels for the slab to support the track work that will be laid later this year into next year. We have concrete at both stations in Beverly Hills, which we won't talk about much here, but in Beverly Hills, we'll have the roof on that station, most likely by the end of July. We'll have the roof on the station in Century City by the end of this year. So a lot of progress since we spoke last. Next slide, please. And things in Century City have been busy since we spoke last. I think the last time we were here was right before the marathon in Los Angeles. So Century City was prominent in the city's showcase of the Los Angeles Marathon. And everything went well in the city. We didn't have any issues with planning or recovering from that. It happened on the weekend, didn't affect our work. We've also had a presidential visit in the last quarter since we spoke. So we Century City hosted President Biden when he came for a fundraiser a couple of months ago. So that was interesting, coordinating work with the Secret Service and traffic control. And another thing is we've had a lot more filming recently in Century City, which is great. That's part of the urban fabric here in Los Angeles. So we coordinate with Film LA through our Metro third-party department and with our community relations department, so that the traffic control associated with filming can coexist with our traffic control, and also that the traffic control impacts of adjacent construction. We've spoken before at this meeting about the work that a property owner at the northeast corner of Constellation and Avenue of the Stars is undertaking. And if you've been out there recently, you'll see the skeleton of 1/4 of a 40-something story building rising next to our station. So essentially 2 building projects happening at the same time. Ours happens to be underground with a lot of concrete that's placed at night. Theirs is a steel frame building that's going up during the day. And we're in daily communication with them to make sure that there are no overlapping impacts from the 2 projects that would negatively impact the stakeholders within Century City. Next slide, please. So I spoke about the concrete work that's occurring, a couple of photos here to show you at concourse level within the station. These were a couple of weeks ago. There's a lot more rebar for the walls from the concourse level up to the roof right now in the station. So just some statistics that aren't on this. We prepare these usually a week or 2 beforehand, so that's why some of the things will say ongoing. But in terms of percent complete, the concourse level slab is almost 100% complete. Walls from invert or the platform level up to concourse level are 100% complete. Walls from the concourse level up to the roof where the arched roof starts is over 50% complete. We've started work on the roof of the station at the east end of the station near Century Park East. So there's been a tremendous amount of work since we were here last, which is encouraging. And as Mr. Galley mentioned earlier, our forecasted completion date is about a year after Section 1, so late summer, early fall of 2026. And that follows our 1, 2, 3 approach, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, opening 3 lines. Next slide, please. Yeah. And in terms of street closures, through the end of this calendar year, we don't anticipate bringing anything to this board, but as we get closer to the end of the year, we might be coming for full street closures related to work that's going to occur in early calendar year 2025 related to street restoration, which will be a good story to present to you as we get the roof of the structure completed by the end of the year, and then backfilling, and then into the street restoration work in the next calendar year. Next slide. We have some updated statistics about the Business Interruption Fund here. If you have any questions, we do have Angela from our BIF group here to answer any questions. And that's my last slide. So if you have any other questions about Section 2, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Do we have any questions on this item?
Yeah, I think that this was a great report. And my curious question is, I hope that the president was proud of what we have done with the federal transportation dollars, did he say?
Well, we obviously weren't invited to the private fundraiser that was
I
held,
see.
but every time he speaks in public in Los Angeles, especially about infrastructure, the Purple Line is one of the projects that he touts as a huge success for the region.
Right,
A couple of
absolutely.
years ago, he was here speaking at the VA for the groundbreaking in Section 3, and that was a great event for us. And the Purple Line was prominent in his presentation, obviously.
Great, because I know we cannot do this work without federal dollars. So I'm very pleased to know as well that he had an opportunity to come and to see the great work that is being done and the progress being made with MTA's work on this project. Thank you.
And thank you for your report as well. Just noting just all the grants and stuff that you all have been giving out. That's for impacted businesses, is that correct?
I'm sorry, would
Just noting on all the grants that have been awarded, and that's for impacted businesses, is that correct?
yes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, when we're done with this, it's just a big thank you to everyone and their ongoing patience, with, and working just collaboratively all together, right, with the city and businesses and Metro and all of our private businesses that have been just doing a lot of work in this area. Just wanted to note that just because it's such a high, so many buildings there and so many people live there and so many people work there. And then it's just such an area of tourists as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
So the last section for the Purple Line is Section 3. John Yao, Project Manager for Section 3.
Hi, good morning, Commissioners. Yeah, my name's John Yao. I'm the Executive Officer for Purple Line Extension Section 3. The project starts in Constellation and then go to the VA hospital station. Alignment is about 2.5 miles long, and the two stations are UCLA and the VA hospital station. Right now, our progress is about 52% complete. With a revenue forecast in 2027. So next slide. Yeah, moving on to the tunnels. Construction of the cross passages are in progress. Right now, the contractor is performing pre-excavation work in cross passages 42 through 51. And they're also preparing to install final lining in 3 of the cross passages, 53 through 55. So the picture on the left, you can see our contractor installing the steel bracing in preparation for installing the final lining. The picture on the right, the contractor are coring holes through the tunnel segments for ground improvement as part of the pre-excavation work at one of the cross passages. Next slide. At Westwood UCLA Station, the excavation of the main box is about 94% complete. The shoring elements, installation with those is about 91% complete. And you can see in the picture on the left, they're removing a tunnel segment. So the tunnel segments are just about all of them have been removed. The picture on the right, they're installing a welder at the lowest level of the bracing, so BL5. So we're getting very close to the bottom there. Also, the work on storm drain line A3 continues on Wilshire Boulevard. Okay, next slide. Westwood, moving on to Westwood VA Hospital. The station excavation is about 92% complete. Almost all the tunnel segments inside the station box have been removed. It's about 99% complete at this point. And the contractor continues to excavate down. They're again close to the bottom and finishing up with installing the excavation support elements. So the picture on the left is a view looking east inside the station, and the picture on the right is looking west. Our community relations effort continues. So in addition to our regular weekly construction notices we have been conducting, there are many ways that we've been doing this, such as having face-to-face meeting with the key stakeholders and also holding open house events. So the goal is to ensure they continue to be informed and we answer any questions or concerns they may have. Now, this slide shows where we are with respect to the overall project schedule. We're in Q2 of 2024, and you can see we're doing some utility relocation, and you just saw we're completing the excavation in the station box, and also we're starting the permanent station structure. And the last slide is the business interruption fund. If you have any questions, Angela here can answer them.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
What was it, like in the 2.5 miles for 3.6 billion?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
When we're done with all of these, something that just came to mind, well, maybe I'll ask it now. We work with a lot of contractors, or Metro works with a lot of contractors. I'm wondering, just like accidents or anything like that, how's that been going?
So you're talking about safety topics.
Yeah,
All
just
right.
safety in general.
Yeah, in general, we monitor it every month, every day. Any incident happen, we have a meeting within 24 hours to analyze the issue, have root cause analysis, and it depends. Some of them are better than others.
Yeah.
But we have what's called recordable, is how many incidents in a period. So we publish it. We actually provide it to the board of our board of director every time we present it. So it's very public. When you know which one is better than who.
A question too, just a general question on some basic standard facts about the total project. Will this be the largest federally funded rail project in the country when we finish with this?
Not sure. Is David here? I'll get back to you.
Okay.
I'll get back to you. I don't want to say.
I know Houston geographically is huge as well.
It's
and they are probably competitive with us in geographical distance, but I don't know.
So we covered section 3. That will finish the purple line. So we'll get out of the purple line now.
I just have one question on. Go ahead.
Nell Mardiasian, she's for East San Fernando project.
Before we move on, I think we have a question from Commissioner Reyes.
Sorry. Okay.
Just one question, leading up to the Olympics, for the totality of all the purple line sections 1 to 3, are they all going to be on schedule, or are there gaps that will be existing, and how are we going to ensure the timeliness of the completion of the projects?
So the completion of the project right now, we have it in early 2027. So even if we have some issues, we have time to, that's the whole point, is we have a contingency. The contingency is not only money, is money and time to react to anything that we encounter that we have to address. So every project has different status. And we always try to react and accelerate and do something to minimize cost and schedule of the project. But right now, we're confident that will be done in 2027, way ahead of any events.
Early 2027?
Right now is this summer of 2027.
Okay, thank you.
But this is when I say summer, is opening the line. So the contractor is
know.
going to finish way ahead of that, because after the contractor finishes, we have to do our own testing and all those things.
Because I think with the Olympics and the Paralympics, it's going to be early summer when it's going to start. Am I correct?
That's a contractor, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we take over the project and we run trains, so you're going to see trains, but this is for our own testing, not to carry passengers.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Reyes, for those questions. Okay, we will move on.
Okay, Nell? Oh, sorry.
Good morning. Nell Martirosian with Metro, representing the East San Fernando Valley Transit Project. So we are known as the Southern Segment. We're 6.7 miles street running light rail along the median of Van Nuys, starting at Oxnard, connecting to the Metro Orange Line, and then heading north to San Fernando Road. We're going to have 11 new station platforms, center platform stations, 10 traction power substations. We're procuring 33 light rail vehicles. We'll be building a maintenance and storage facility, which is near Keswick, shown in the white rectangular box. And then our target revenue service date is late 2031, and our proposed project budget is $3.57 billion. We'll be doing a lot of improvements, street, sidewalk, lighting. We have a 2-to-1 tree replacement ratio for this project. We're going to be putting in 25 signalized intersections. The rest of the locations will be, the cross streets will be right in and out access. We'll be removing the parking on Van Nuys and the bike lanes. And then if you see the picture below on the bottom, that's just a cross-section of what the street's going to look like once we are complete with the project. So there's 2 lanes traveling north and 2 lanes traveling south with the trains and the platform in the middle of Van Nuys Boulevard. So some key updates for the project. We are in an expedited project delivery program. We have submitted our FFGA application. Our NEPA reevaluation, we're complete. We're waiting for approval, which should come in very soon. And then the application we submitted, we're hoping to get the grant by September of this year. As far as real estate, we're in the process of acquiring full takes right now. So primarily at the maintenance facility site, which is more industrial, and there's a lot of relocations of businesses which could be long lead items. So we've started that process already. As I mentioned before, our project budget is $3.57 billion. We have 3 sources of funding. The first one being the Federal Transit Administration, which was the pilot program I was talking about earlier. We also have state grants and local measures. So in terms of project delivery, we have 2 active contracts right now, a progressive design build and a public-private partnership. That always gets me, also known as a P3. We're currently in phase 1 of the pre-construction, which is pre-construction of the progressive design build contract. We're going to be issuing 4 early works packages, which are shown on the screen. And then we're also going to be finalizing the design for the remaining utility work, which are listed as UA design packages 2, 3, 5, 7, and 8. And I'll get into those shortly. Some key milestones for the project. So back in April, we issued notice to proceed to our contractor, which is San Fernando Transit Constructors. We're going to begin utility work very shortly in the next 2 months, we're hoping. And then in early 2025, that's when we'll be negotiating phase 2, which is also known as major construction. And then hopefully by late 2025, we can actually start the construction activities. And then planning to be operating in late 2031. So this is a schedule summary. I know it's kind of hard to read and it's small, but the first few green bars, that kind of represents the early works packages I was talking about. There's various packages. I believe there's 12 listed on here. And then when we get into phase 2, which is going to be late 2025, after that you'll see durations for construction of the maintenance facility site, the roadway, the stations, and the systems as you kind of go down. And at the bottom, you'll see system testing and substantial completion. So utility adjustments. So in advance of major construction, we have to get the utilities out of the way, and we have various types of utility work. So utility adjustments are also known as utility relocations. The first of the 7 UA packages was completed as of March this year. And then the remaining 6 are going to be done by our contractor, which is, again, SFTC, and those will begin this summer. We also have utility investigations being done by our contractor. That's up and down the alignment, and that utility work is potholing and slot trenching, and that's going to go on from, it'll continue through 2024 and part of 2025. We also have other utility relocations. So we have the gas company out there, and then we also have LADWP doing their own self-perform work, so like betterment work, kind of in advance of us being out there. They want to kind of get their system upgraded as much as they can. So these are the UA packages I was talking about. That's just our lingo. So in the first column, you see the utility adjustments. The second column, you see the locations of these utility relocations, and then the neighborhoods, and then the anticipated construction date. So the first one being UA6, which is Telfair. That's the first one we're going to do in the summer. So this is just letting you guys know we have upcoming street closures that we're going to be requesting. So all of these locations, all these 3 utility adjustments, they all have various types. They're all, DWP relocations, and they have various types of closures. So UA6 is primarily night work, and it'll be a nightly full closure of Telfair. And we've communicated that with BOE MTD Group. We've also talked to the council districts about this upcoming work. So we just submitted all the requirements that required documents to BOE for their review. And then the remaining 2 are still a little ways out, and we've let both BOE and the council districts know that we're going to continue to have closure requests coming up, but we don't have all the information yet from our contractors. So once that becomes available, we'll share that with this group. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Olga Lopez, who is our construction relations manager.
Good morning. Buenos dias. My name is Olga Mireya Lopez. I'm the new construction relations manager on the East San Fernando Light Rail project. The team continues to distribute the bilingual construction notices and direct outreach for the current work activities. We are also hosting project construction update community meetings. We held in-person and virtual meetings back in March, and we have some more coming up that are scheduled in the month of July. We also continue with our virtual Community Leadership Council meeting. We hosted one in May. The next meeting we're planning is in September. The team is out hosting informational booth at community events. Also, we are providing specific project briefings to community organizations, and we're making them available in English and in Spanish. As Nell mentioned, we are also participating in the project briefings with the Los Angeles City Council district offices, the staff. We're advising them of the upcoming activities and requests. There's project updates at neighborhood councils that we are making available. And of course, we are out in the community hosting door-to-door business, providing operational info and informing the community about the upcoming utility adjustments work. And next, I'm going to hand over the presentation to the director, Ms. Angela Winston.
Hello, good morning. Just our update as it relates to the Business Interruption Fund and Business Solution Center on the East San Fernando Valley. We have also been participating in community meetings and the meetings that Olga mentioned as we have officially launched the Business Interruption Fund on East San Fernando Valley. We are anticipating that some of the construction impacts due to the utility relocations will affect some of the businesses. And so we look forward to being able to provide grants as early as this fall for that impact. The BIF Fund Administrator is Pacific Coast Regional Small Business Finance. They again have entered into a new contract, so we were very pleased. On East San Fernando Valley, New Economics for Women will support their outreach. As we know that we want to be sure we're culturally competent to the various areas that we serve. And so that is a new addition to our infrastructure as it relates to the Business Interruption Fund. So we're very pleased to get started on East San Fernando Valley. On the Business Solution Center, and again, that provides hands-on business assistance and support services to small businesses during these construction impacts. We expect to launch in the fall of 2024. We are sort of doing a little bit of a different model than we did on the Crenshaw LAX project, which is the only other project that had a business solution center. With the proposal for this particular infrastructure for the BSC, we will be engaging some of the community-based organizations on East San Fernando Valley to actually provide some of the services to that community. So we thought that was a very welcome addition, and we look forward to doing that. So we have to get on the board agenda so we can award a contract for the BESC in the fall. So we look forward to being fully operational in the next several months. Thank you.
Thank you. And commissioners, do we have any questions on this, on the East San Fernando Valley?
Segment, no.
I actually just have a quick question on some of the street closures. I was just looking it up. Is there like a community college that's going to be impacted?
Yes. So for Telfair, there is a community college out there. We've been coordinating with them. We actually got their concurrence. So what we're going to do is actually the class gets out at 9. The students leave by 9:30. So we're actually adjusting our start time.
Okay.
So we can start after them so we don't impact them.
Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks,
All
Nell, Angela, and Olga. Last project is Annalisa Murphy to address the G Line BRT.
Thank you and good morning.
Good morning.
So here on the display or your printout is the map of the G Line Improvements Project. The project includes a number of improvements along the existing G Line bus rapid transit line through the valley. So we have railroad-style 4-quadrant gates at 13 intersections, and that's between Colfax and Tyrone, and then transit signal resurfacing at all of the remaining intersections. And that's just a fancy way of saying we're upgrading the traffic signal system. We're working very closely with LADOT in this. There's, ensuring that there is a integrated system between their existing system and this new traffic signal resurfacing. We're also installing grade separations at 3 intersections. So the buses will be traveling via bridge over Sepulveda, Van Nuys, and Vesper. We are building a aerial station at Van Nuys Boulevard, and that aerial station is over the terminal station of East San Fernando Valley Light Rail. So we're coordinating very closely with that project, both through design and construction planning. We have bike path improvements as well on the entirety of the G Line Metro-owned bike path. Next slide. So here's the high-level project overview. I'm just going to focus where we are today, and that is in a fun place between kind of phase 1 and phase 2 of our progressive design build contract. It's exciting. We're very busy. We are essentially transitioning between design and construction. So we, the past few presentations we've given to you have not talked much about road closures or construction because we really haven't started. But in the coming presentations, you'll see we'll have more activity in the field. So the next slide does touch on the first construction package that we are planning to start on. It's a temp fiber duct bank, and the construction is primarily occurring within the bike path. This duct bank is required to connect. So we're obviously building these grade separations. The majority of our construction is happening between around Tyrone and Sepulveda Boulevard. It's about a 4 mega block area, and we need to. We're eventually going to put out of service the Van Nuys Station and Sepulveda Station, which you can see on the map here. And in order to take those stations offline but keep the rest of the G line in operation, we need to cut over, do a temp fiber relocation. And so that's what we are going to be doing here through the bike path. And because we are doing a temp fiber construction in the bike path, we will have to detour the cyclists off the bike path. And this is a detour route that we've presented to the public in community meetings. We've gotten concurrence from the council district. And we intend to implement this fall, and it will kick off the kind of first package of construction. But because construction after this will be ongoing for 2 to 3 years, we will keep this detour in place for an extended period of time. Whenever feasible, we will shorten this detour. But yes, that is the kind of first primary piece of construction work. We have on the next slide, we have no upcoming street closures. And I am going to hand it over to Olga Medea to go over our community relations and public outreach.
Hello again. Thank you. On this G-Line project, I'm also the construction relations manager, and the team continues to host project community meetings. Sorry. And with the upcoming bike detour, what we have implemented is we have set up bike path pop-up outreach events informing the bike community about the change that will happen soon. We are continuing with our LA City Council staff briefings. We're hosting the neighborhood council stakeholder community meetings where we come and provide project updates. We are sending a direct stakeholder field visits and face-to-face meetings. We're at community events, and we're e-blasting project updates about the G-Line improvements project. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners, do we have any questions on this one?
Good job.
I just have more for my education. The fiber duct construction, that's Metro's infrastructure, correct?
It is Metro's, however, we share it with DOT. When we originally built the G-Line, we gave DOT, I think, 2 conduits within the duct bank for their use. And so we are coordinating very closely with DOT The cut, you know, when we do the cutover, it will also include DOT fiber cutover.
Appreciate it. Thank you. All right. And
So
what time-
that conclude Metro's update.
did you have questions?
Oh, no, I
No.
don't. Thank you for the
Thank
great
you.
report today.
Thank you so much. Excellent. And TJ, does that clear our desk for today?
Yes, Vice President, it does.
I appreciate it. All right, then this meeting is adjourned, 11:24 on June 5th. Thank you.